So in the previous video we have set up the Greenshift theme, and in this video we are going to look at the Greenshift blocks and the Greenlight blocks and also at the Greenshift class system. So let's go.
So here we are back in the WordPress dashboard, and the first thing we are going to do is add a new page. So let's go to Pages and add new page, and we're going to call this Default Blocks. So this page is going to display all the blocks that we use on the site. They are also called patterns in Gutenberg. Gutenberg also has a pattern library from which you can insert those blocks on pages, but you can also copy and paste them from this page to a new page. So let's publish this page as private. So it's only visible to site admins and editors and not to normal users and visitors of our website. So let's save it. And let's click on the button, the plus button here in the left top corner to see which blocks we have available to us. As I've said before, Greenshift offers two kinds of blocks. Blocks for professionals, which are called Greenlight, and blocks that are a bit more beginner friendly, called Greenshift. As we have said in the theme settings, the black Greenlight blocks are shown first, because we will use those the most. They are the most suited for a professional workflow using a class system and the same styling settings for each block. And above all, they produce very clean code. So if we scroll down, we get to the Greenshift blocks. Those are the blue blocks over here, and they offer a bit more presets and settings and other helpers that make them a bit more beginner friendly. Their settings panels are also a little closer to how WordPress core blocks work. When we scroll all the way to the end, we see the WordPress core blocks. So let's take a look at the styling options we have for Greenlight blocks. First, we're going to add a div element to the page, and in that we're going to add a h1 element. So when we look here, then you see the styling panel over here. And as I said, all Greenlight blocks offer the same styling options, so we have the same styling panel over here with the h1 element. So which styling options do we have? The first icon is for typography. So when we click on that, you can set things like the text size, the font size, the line height, the font weight, font align, decoration, uppercase, capitalize, or lowercase. And you have some advanced typography options over here, which include things like line clamp, so you can limit the amount of lines for each instance. You can set the font style, and so on. Text shadows are also available over here. All right. Then in the second step, you find all the colors with the pencil. So you have your text color, you have your link color, and they of course all use the global colors we have set in the first episodes. You can add a background color, also like this. And as you see, when you change something, a blue dot appears. When you click that, then it resets to its original value, and you also have a reset colors over here. Then the third tab is for spacing, so you can set your margins and your paddings over here. And if you want to have the same value on all sides, for example, when I add some padding over here, you should add a background color to make that a bit more clear. So let's choose the yellow background color and now set some padding, like 20 pixels in this case. As you can see, it only applies to the top because that's where I added it, but if I want it both on the top and the bottom, I can set this and then it will do it on the top and the bottom. And if I want this in all sides, I will just click this icon and it will apply to all the sides of my block. And again, clicking the blue icon over here, for example, will clear those styles as well. Then the fourth tab is the border tab. And as you can see, you also have some preset options. So you can just set a border like this, 3 pixels, choose your color over here. For example, this purple one. And as you can see, it will add a purple border. But you can also choose from some presets over here. And it will add some borders for you as well. And you can have a custom over here, which will just allow you to use like a CSS token or just type your own. So that's really nice. And you can also click this icon and then you can set everything per border site. So you have a maximum flexibility in this. Then the fifth icon is to add shadows. So you can just type the shadow you would like, but you can also choose from one of the presets. So this is a box shadow, which will offer a shadow around the entire block. And you can have as many shadows as you want. And of course here you can just customize them any way you like. All right, so that's for shadows. Then here we have a size step. And the size step offers a lot of options to set like a min width and a max width, and a min height and a max height, or a fixed width and height. And also some other options like object fit for images. Those are all over here. Then this is the CSS transitions tab. So if you want to use some effect and you want to have a smooth transition, then you can set it here. You can customize that all you want. But again, here you have some presets to make it clear what everything does. This is the position tab. So here you can set your element to have absolute position or relative position or fixed or sticky. And this is the display tab. This is an important one because here we can set how we want to display our block. So we can choose to display none. We can choose just a display inline, inline block, a block, inline flex, flexbox, and CSS grid. And with those latest two, you have full control over everything you want to do. So in the case of flexbox, you can set your direction. You can justify the content. You can align items. You can align content. You can set if you want it to wrap or not. You can set column gaps and row gaps and some other things. So for children, you can also set grow and shrink. And for CSS grid, you get a lot of options as well. So here you have grid template columns, grid template rows. You can just click those if you want like 3 columns, then you can click this and it will offer you 3 columns. And you can also align everything like to the center and you justify it over here at a column gap, at a row gap. Same controls as with Flexbox in this case. This offers some effects controls, so you can set some things like opacity, you can set your visibility here, you can set what you want your cursor to do. There are also some filters, both for the front as for the backdrop. The backdrop filters, they will apply to the layer behind the layer we are working on right now. You can set some masks, so you have a lot of options here as well. And you have animations, and Greenshift offers a lot of control over your animations, and these are just some presets that you can use. And in the very last tab, you can set your responsive visibility of the blocks. So you can hide it on desktop, on tablet, on landscape mobile, and on mobile. And you can also choose to hide it on the editor or hide it on the front end. And you can also add some custom CSS here. So those are all the styling options that we have on Greenlight Blocks. However, these are local styles, meaning they only apply to this specific block instance. So if I add another heading and another one, I would have to set the styles manually for each block. And if I want to change something later on, I will have to go to each block to make that change as well. That's not a huge problem if you only have 3 blocks on the same page, but what if you have 50 blocks with the same styles on 10 different pages? That's why we want to use Greenshift's global class system. So for that, we are going here and we are going to delete the local styles by clicking the blue dot. And there's also a class set for local styles. We're going to delete that as well. And now we are going to add a global style called test heading. Add it as a global class and set some styling on here. So we're going to set the background color. We are going to add some spacing. I want one rem to top and bottom, so I click the bottom icon and set the spacing. And let's see what else might we want to have. Well, we're not going to add the border, but we are going to set the font size to like 24 pixels. And like you see, it only applies to this instance again. But now we are going to save this to the database. And when I go here and I click on the classes, I see I have my test heading class over here. And when I click it and add it to this block, you see it immediately gets all the styling that this block has as well. And the beautiful thing is, when I change something over here, it will immediately change on all the other instances as well. Not just on this page, but throughout the entire site.
So now you know which blocks Greenshift offers and what the difference is between Greenshift and Greenlight blocks, and we also explored the class system in Greenshift. In the next episode, we are going to build out the templates for the website, like the header, the footer and the single page template. Subscribe so you don't miss anything, and see you then.